Hello, I'm Janet Coe, President and co-founder of the Menopause Foundation of Canada. We're very excited to launch our very first Menopause Illuminated. The purpose of this webinar is to help close the menopause knowledge gap, to bring you trusted Canadian experts offering real talk about this very important stage of life. I would like to thank Estellas for providing an unrestricted educational grant to make this webinar possible. We're very grateful. I would also like to welcome the thousands of people who signed up and joined this webinar. We have people joining us from every province and from the Yukon and the Northwest Territories. You stepped up and you said, we want to break the taboo of menopause and we want to have this conversation. We begin tonight with an important land acknowledgement, and I'm very pleased to introduce you to my colleague, Jennifer Arnott, who chairs the communications work for the Menopause Foundation of Canada. Over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Janet. The Menopause Foundation of Canada acknowledges that we live and work on the traditional territories of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples who have cared for this land, now called Canada, since time immemorial. We recognize land that is shared through historic treaties, developed through contemporary treaties, and land that continues to be unceded territory. We are grateful to those peoples who have come before us and those who live and work alongside us now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Our roadmap for this Menopause Illuminated webinar series is really guided by you, by the questions that you submitted in advance of this discussion. We'll do about 30 minutes of conversation with our expert this evening, followed by 30 minutes of Q&A. Without further ado, it is my great honor and privilege to introduce our first Menopause Illuminated trusted expert, Dr. Shafeena Premji. Dr. Shafeena Premji is a highly respected family physician specializing in women's health. She is a certified menopause specialist who is recognized for her expertise. She serves as a board member of the Canadian Menopause Society. This is the group of physicians, OB/GYN specialists who work on the clinical practice guidelines related to menopause care in our country. She's also on the medical advisory board of the Menopause Foundation of Canada. I think she's truly a visionary leader when it comes to women's health. She has founded and directs 2 family care practices, and she established Milestone, a menopause center in southern Alberta. She's a sought-after speaker, a media contributor, and she speaks regularly at medical conferences, and she's really dedicated her life to educating other healthcare practitioners about women's health and menopause in particular. Welcome, Dr. Premji.
Thank you, Janet, for such a warm welcome. It's such an honor to be here with you today.
Thank you so much for being our first expert to talk about menopause. I thought we could start by attuning everybody to a more positive impression of this stage of life. I think menopause is often viewed very negatively, and the image of the woman in menopause is often framed in a very negative way. So I believe that menopause is really the prime of life and that we have so much to contribute. What do you think women have to look forward to during this stage of life?
As a menopause specialist and a family doctor as well, when I see a patient coming into my clinic, whether it's for a routine menopause follow-up or a new consultation, to me, this is an opportunity for a woman to reclaim her identity. Midlife to me is a way for women to find themselves again. I know that as women, we go through the reproductive years. There may be women who are trying to conceive, who are able to conceive. There are women who be able to carry a pregnancy, go through childbirth, postpartum breastfeeding. And then a lot of times we as women get lost in that kerfuffle of life, right? Our families, our careers, maintaining our homes, and we sacrifice our own health and our own well-being. So when patients come to me for a menopause consultation, I tell them that this is not a diagnostic treatment that I'm offering you. This is a self-care appointment, an opportunity to reprioritize your own health, an opportunity to reevaluate some of your priorities, some of your current schedules, how you're managing your life and all of your obligations, and really to say it's okay to want to make your health a priority again, to want to make change in a deliberate way, and really to offer women the opportunity to improve the most important relationship that they have, and that is the relationship that they have with themselves.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I do think it's just a great opportunity to reconnect with yourself. And so often as women, we don't prioritize our own health. So this is really a great opportunity to do that. All right, we're going to dive into our conversation tonight, really guided by the many questions that we received from people who signed up to the webinar. The first area of focus I'm calling What's Going On? I think, this is a stage of life that can be very confusing for many people, myself included. Too many of us don't understand the changes that are happening within our own bodies. We are often blindsided by the things that are happening because we lack the knowledge to understand. My own story was not even knowing what perimenopause was, having all these symptoms that I couldn't connect the dots on, and actually leaving a senior vice president role at the age of 48. So this is still too much of a mystery for too many women. Some of the questions we received were, how do I know if I'm in perimenopause? Can menopause symptoms start before your period stops? Is it normal to still have periods at 55? So, Dr. Premji, please dive into the hormonal change and shifts and help us navigate this.
So let's talk about why menopause even occurs. So as infants, when we are fetuses inside of our mom's tummy, we actually have the highest number of follicles in our ovaries. When we are born as a newborn, as women, we have around 1 million to 2 million follicles or small eggs in our ovaries. And despite many of the cells in our bodies that are able to reproduce or regenerate, when we are born, we are given a finite number of follicles, and when those follicles run out, that technically is considered menopause. Now, in general, we're born on average with about 1 million follicles in our ovaries. When we hit puberty, it goes down to about half. And by the time we actually enter menopause, we only have about 1,000 follicles left in our ovaries, but they're no longer capable of ovulating. So menopause is really a function of ovarian aging due to a depletion of these follicles or these eggs. The average age for women globally is around 50 to 51, but it can range from 45 to 55. And the way menopause is diagnosed is once you've gone a full 12 months without a